will support education in Cameroon, Kyrgyzstan, and Uzbekistan. These countries will be the first to access funding under the ACG SmartEd initiative to support effective and sustainable programs that will get millions more boys and girls into schools and learning. Funds under the SmartEd initiative are accessible to 37 countries that are members of the Organization of the Islamic Cooperation and collectively are home to nearly 28 million out-of-school children. The strong demand for financing through SmartEd shows that many governments understand the gravity of the crisis and want to increase spending on education. This has all been possible thanks to the joint effort of our partners.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you found the video of the Smart Financing Education Facility informative and inspiring. Now that we have a little deeper understanding of the facility and its significance, I request His Excellency Dr. Mansour Mukhtar, Vice President of Operations for the Islamic Development Bank, to address the audience. Under his visionary leadership and technical guidance, the ISDB has been able to play a pivotal role in leading the ACG institutions to design this groundbreaking facility and much-needed resources to establish SmartEd as a means to finance education and to address the education crisis in common member countries of both the ACG and the GPE. Excellency, we eagerly await your welcoming remarks as we value your insights. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Christoria. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Excellencies, ISDB governors here present, Excellencies, Ministers of Education, Your Excellency Dr. Mohammed Suleiman Al-Jasser, Chairman of the ISDB Group, dear Dr. Laura Frizenti, Chief Executive Officer, Global Partnership for Education, Excellencies, Heads of Arab Coordination Group institutions, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. I'm honored today to warmly welcome you to this moment of celebration, a celebration of partnership of immense potential. This partnership, which is strategically anchored around the Joint Arab Coordination Group GPE initiative, the Smart Financing for Education Initiative, or SmartEd, could potentially contribute towards mitigating the prevailing global education crisis. We commend the partnering ACG institutions and the GPE for envisioning and committing with the ISDB to lead this joint initiative, an initiative aimed at fostering innovative and transformational co-financing with a view to fast-tracking sustainable educational development in our common member countries. It is rewarding and equally reassuring that the initiative has taken off in earnest. The initiative has recorded quite significant milestones and gains in a relatively short time. Close to 60% of the targeted financing envelope of $500 million has already been committed in less than 16 months. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to seize this opportunity to commend the technical working group comprised of staff and experts from the Islamic Development Bank, the ACG institutions, and the GPE Secretariat, who worked assiduously on the design of the SmartEd initiative. It is heartening that the design of this flagship initiative is aligned with and leveraging upon existing structures, systems, processes, and procedures of the involved stakeholders to minimize transaction costs while maximizing value for money for the investments to be made. The design focus of the ACG-GPE SmartEd initiative is geared towards enhancing efficiency, efficacy, and resilience, as well as promoting the provision of inclusive, equitable, quality education and quality learning outcomes. The thrust of the design is also anchored on broad stakeholders partnerships, participatory processes, effective coordination, and synergy of actions. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, let me express our profound gratitude to partnering institutions for committing to devoting substantial resources to operationalize the SmartEd initiative and thereby acting as catalyst for mobilizing needed additional financing. We sincerely appreciate the GPE for its strong commitment to blend its multiplier grant and technical expertise with the ACG member institutions' contributions to ensure funding affordability for our member countries, as well as required technical expertise to effectively tackle their education crisis. We thank you all for honoring our invitation to join us here today, and we are pleased and excited with the presence of honorable ministers of education from beneficiary countries, and who are the first set, including Cameroon, Kyrgyzstan, and Uzbekistan, who are the first set of beneficiary countries of the ACG-GPE SmartEd initiative. We are equally pleased with the strong representation from the partner ACG institutions and, of course, the GPE. I welcome CEO Laura Frigenti and all the senior level executives and heads of the ACG institutions here present, along with His Excellency, the President of Islamic Development Bank, Dr. Mohammed Al-Jasser. With your strong attendance today, you have demonstrated the commitment of our respective institutions and governments to heighten the attention and momentum on inclusive and more impactful dialogue, as well as supporting actions to promptly address the serious global education crisis, which is adversely impacting our common member countries. Once again, I welcome you all to this momentous event. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mansour, for those welcoming remarks to commence our proceedings. It is now my privilege to introduce a distinguished individual who has a wealth of experience and expertise in the field of global development. Mrs. Laura Frigenti, who assumed the role of CEO of Global Partnership for Education in 2002, brings extensive expertise and leadership to this esteemed position. A highly respected figure with an illustrious career spanning over 30 years in multinational institutions. Government and former colleague of His Excellency, our Vice President, Dr. Mansour, during their tenure at the World Bank. We are honored to have Mrs. Frigenti here with us today, and we look forward to hearing her insights and perspectives on the critical role that partnerships have in financing education. Mrs. Frigenti, please take the floor.
Thank you very much. Excellency Dr. Al-Jasser, Dr. Mukhtar, Excellency Ministries and distinguished guests, it is a real pleasure for me to celebrate the Arab Coordination Group SmartEd Financing Initiative with you today. The bank chose partnership to fend off crisis as the theme for this annual meeting, and I cannot think of an initiative better than this one to actually symbolize the partnership and the crisis element that are in that sentence. Together, through this initiative, we will give skills, education, and hope, and I don't know which one is more important, to millions of marginalized children. We are showing the world what can be achieved when committed donors, the Arab Coordination Group, development institutions, and funds join with the Global Partnership for Education to deliver innovative finance solutions to lower-income countries. Our SmartEd financing mechanism comes at a time when education is on the verge of catastrophe, with disastrous consequences for social development, economic growth, and political stability. War, economic shocks, climate change, and the lingering pandemic are putting extraordinary pressures on education system. Since the pandemic began, the proportion of children who cannot read and understand a simple text by age 10 has risen from 50% to a shocking 70%, and to 90% in low-income countries. If we want to fuel economic growth, if we want more peaceful and stable society, and if we want to mitigate the worst effects of climate change, pandemics, and refugee crisis, we must invest in education and close this skill gap. We simply must get millions more children into school and learning, and that is precisely what SmartEd will do. We are so pleased to announce today that GPE and the Islamic Development Bank are crowding in $280 million to Cameroon, Kyrgyz Republic, and Uzbekistan. This will bring tens of thousands of children into classrooms so they can learn and develop the 21st century skills they will need one day to support themselves and their family. To fund SmartEd, GPE is providing $100 million in grant from its innovative multiplier fund, while ACG institutions are providing $400 million of concessional financing. Together, this funding will be faster moving and more concessional than ever before. And these three countries with GPE support will drive decisions around financing to maximize every dollar received through SmartEd. And I hope that this is just the beginning. Since we began 20 years ago, GPE has helped 160 million more children, including twice as many girls as before, attend school in partner countries and improve learning outcomes. So far, GPE has raised more than $11 billion to accelerate access to school and learning. We have catalyzed another $2 billion through our innovative financing mechanism and helped countries save $6 billion through greater efficiency. Our COVID-19 Education Response and Recovery Fund is the largest in the world. Our unique knowledge and innovation exchange platform and our Education Advocacy Fund are improving schools every day. As much as we have achieved, we need to do much more, far more, if we are to recover from the learning losses of recent years and transform the lives of millions of vulnerable children by educating them. Your continued support and financing will help us give children the quality of education that is their right. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Frigenti, for sharing your valuable insights. It is important to acknowledge the alignment between your efforts heading GPE and the strategic priorities of our esteemed host, His Excellency Dr. Mohammed Al-Jasser, President of the Islamic Development Group. Under his visionary leadership, the ISDB has placed emphasizing the significance of education and fostering sustainable development among its core objectives. Now, it's with great respect and admiration that I invite His Excellency Dr. Al-Jasser, President of the ISDB, to deliver the opening remarks for this session.
Thank you very much. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أفضل الأنبياء والمرسلين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I am truly delighted to welcome you all to this event to celebrate a fruitful collaboration between the Arab Coordination Group and the Global Partnership for Education. I am also pleased to welcome Dr. Laura Frigenti and her first official visit as CEO of GPE. We are honored that this is your first trip out. This event resonates strongly with the annual meeting's theme, Partnership to Fend Off Crises, as you said also. It is an acknowledgement of the considerable progress in the ACG-GPE SmartEd initiative. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the education sector has endured one of the longest silent crises fueled by climate change, food insecurity, conflicts, and the COVID-19 pandemic. Bold, strategic, innovative, and concerted actions are urgently needed to mitigate the crisis and safeguard hard-earned gains in educational development in member countries. Should we fail to deliver on our commitment to transform education, poverty, deteriorating health conditions, and instability will continue to ravage the world and widen socioeconomic disparities. So we need to mobilize substantial financial resources to effectively address the education crisis. The Global Education Monitoring Report found that around 1/3 of the education financing gap could be filled if donors fulfilled their aid commitments and prioritized basic education in the poorest countries. GPE is doing an incredible job mobilizing to close the gaps in education financing. GPE promotes and facilitates strategic partnerships for effective educational programming and implementation. The Islamic Development Bank and the Arab Coordination Group are pleased to partner with GPE. We affirm our commitment to strengthening and scaling up this strategic partnership by consolidating the milestone achievements of SmartEd. Commitment to SmartEd is critical to fulfilling our overarching mandate to support accelerated human development. SmartEd provides an opportunity to mobilize much-needed financial resources at affordable cost and pool technical expertise to fend off the education crises in 37 member countries and provide inclusive quality education for millions of children. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I thank my distinguished colleagues from the ACG institutions and the GCC donor countries to the GPE Fund. I applaud your continued commitment and commend you for upholding the Arab tradition and culture of giving and supporting the less endowed. I call on the ACG institutions to firm up their pledges on a country-by-country basis to expediently process the 2023 pipeline projects to address this exigency. The Islamic Development Bank reaffirms its pledge to consolidate the partnership to fend off the education crisis and ensure that every child is in school and learning effectively for a better future. Thank you very much. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for reaffirming the ISDB's commitment to building partnership and addressing the education crisis. With those inspiring remarks, we will now proceed to the next segment of this event. Your CEO Regenti, Your Excellency Dr. Mohammed Jasser, as well as Masoom Akhtar, you may now join the audience. And I ask the distinguished members of the ACG group to join the stage. Special Advisor to the President of ISDB Group, Director General of BADIA, Director General of ISFD, Director General of OPEC Fund, CEO of Saudi Fund for Development, and the Director General of Abu Dhabi. Kindly join the stage. To begin this segment, I would like to invite Mohammed Jamal Asadi, the Special Advisor to the ISDB President, who has been the driving force behind the ISDB relationship with the ACG institutions. His invaluable contributions and unwavering support have played a vital role in our engagement with GPE with the very beginning. Mr. Asaiti, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Excellencies, honorable ministers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all protocol duly and respectfully observed. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It gives me great pleasure to make few remarks in this session. I have had the privilege of participating in the early engagement between the Islamic Development Bank and the Global Partnership of Education, leading to the signing of a memorandum of understanding and a letter of intent, and the subsequent accreditation of ISDB as a grant agent by the GPE trustee, the World Bank. I recall the Out-of-School Children Project in Kaduna State in Nigeria, jointly financed by ISFD, Kuwait Fund for Development, the Education Above All, and the GPE, that served as the incubator or the pilot to scale up joint operations between the GPE and the Arab Coordination Group. The experience in ISDB's first joint operation with GPE in Tajikistan and the Kaduna project in Nigeria informed and influenced the design of the SmartEd facility. The heads of the Arab Coordination Group institutions will recall the hybrid meeting during the COVID time, co-hosted by the Islamic Development Bank and the Vice Chair of the GPE board, to launch the Arab case for investment in education in March 2021, ahead of the London Financing Conference. It was at this meeting that the heads of the ACG institution expressed commitment to explore blended financing opportunities with GPE. Thanks to the pledges from Badia, the ISFD, and ISDB, and the OPIC Fund that has mobilized 400 million to blend with 100 million grant resources from the GPE multiplier, making the total SmartEd funding to the tune of $500 million. Other ACG institutions did commit to co-finance under the SmartEd initiative on a project-by-project basis. ISDB made the announcement at the Education Financing Summit in London in July 2021. Today we can celebrate accomplishing the development of the operational guidelines, receipt of 3 country profiles from Cameroon, Uzbekistan, and Kyrgyzstan to constitute the 2023 work program, the expression of interest from the ACG Operations Director meeting to co-finance these projects at the tune of $350 million. That's 280 million from the ACG financing and 70 million GPE grant resources. The approval of the expression of interest for Uzbekistan for $40 million by GPE, ongoing processing of expression of interest for Cameroon for 15 million, and also the project preparation in Uzbekistan started recently. The Islamic Development Bank has over the years collaborated with the Arab Coordination Group institution in co-financing projects in the education sector. The experience will add value to the operationalization of SmartEd. I take this opportunity to inform everybody that the total financing of the Arab Coordination Group since starting working together back in the 70s up to the end of 2022 has totaled nearly $267 billion. That's a huge number we should be all proud of. Excellencies, distinguished guests, my humble role has been one of the advisory and liaison facilitator between the ISDB team and the ACG partner institution, and it has been a pleasure and an honor doing this as a modest contribution to a very promising cooperation and also for a field like education. I wish success for this undertaking, for the initiative of the SmartEd, and also I wish success to our member countries and to all. Thank you all for your kind attention. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Thank you very, Mr. Asadi. I'm sure we can count on your continued support as the team starts to operationalize the facility. We are honored to have in the presence Dr. Sidi Taha, Director General of Badia. Badia has pledged $100 million to the SmartEd facility and has expressed its commitment to the Cameroon project. Dr. Taha, the floor is yours to deliver your goodwill message.
Thank you very much. Honorable Ministers, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. Allow me at the outset to congratulate the Islamic Development Bank Group and GPE for pioneering this SmartEd initiative. As you all know, the Arab Coordination Group has a long tradition of supporting the education sector. As mentioned by Brother Saati, out of the 267 billion, nearly a quarter has been allocated to the education sector and social sectors. The Arab Bank for Economic Development in Africa, Badia, is proud to be part of the Arab Coordination Group and to join this initiative to continue to support the education sector, which is critical for our partner countries. The bank has recently engaged to support girls' education in Niger, and we are really proud to have with us the Islamic Development Bank Group and the Saudi Fund to support this initiative, and we welcome other partners to join this critical initiative for the Republic of Niger. The bank reiterates its commitment to this partnership between the Arab Coordination Group and GPE to provide more resources at highly concessional conditions to support education in our partners' countries. Within the three projects already earmarked for this initiative, Badia is supporting Cameroon education program. We look to support additional projects in sub-Saharan African countries, which are the partners of the Arab Bank for Economic Development, Badia. Once again, congratulations for the Islamic Development Bank and GPE, and for all the ACG members. Thank you and good luck.
Thank you, Dr. Taha, for those reassuring words. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as we all know, ISFD is the poverty arm for the ISDB group and has been actively involved in the social sectors and has been a contributor to various education initiatives. ISFD has pledged $100 million to the SmartEd facility, with $50 million going specifically to the out-of-school children's program. Furthermore, ISFD has expressed its commitment to the Cameroon project. I now invite Dr. Hiba Ahmed, the Director General of ISFD, to share remarks. Dr. Hiba?
Thank you very much. Excellency Dr. Mohammed Sulaiman Al-Jasser, Excellencies IDB Governors and Ministers of Finance, Dr. Laura Fregenti, CEO Global Partnership for Education, Excellencies, Honorable Ministers of Education, Excellencies, Heads of Arab Coordination Group institutions, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah ta'ala wa barakatuh. It gives me great pleasure to be part of this celebration moment. ISFD was established in 2007 as the poverty reduction arm of the IDB group, with the purpose of supporting member countries fight poverty in all its forms. Hence, the centrality of education in its mandate. In ISFD, we believe that education is a game changer. It lifts up lives, transforms economies and societies, and can provide renewed hope for an entire generation of boys and girls whose futures are being disrupted or threatened by the ongoing learning crisis and other man-made and natural crises that impact heavily on children. This is why 22% of all our concessional approvals since inception, totaling $1.3 billion, were directed to the education sector. Arguably, education is our single best investment in building peace in our times and for the future. To achieve this, we need partnerships to work together with one purpose: the good of humanity. It is therefore gratifying that this innovative financing facility for education is being celebrated under the IDB 2023 annual meeting theme of partnerships to fend off crisis. Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, to demonstrate our commitment to partnerships, I want to highlight one relevant ISFD flagship program, the Out of School Children program, in collaboration with Education Above All, in which we blend ISFD concessional financing with Education Above All grant financing. The existing part of this partnership is the engagement of non-state actors as implementing partners to support government efforts to provide quality education services in hard-to-reach communities. With the experience of our partnership in the Out-of-School Children program, ISFD did not hesitate to pledge $100 million to the SmartEd facility, and I am proud to report that ISFD is also part of the Kaduna State project, in which GPE multiplier is being leveraged by ACG partners. ISFD is pleased to commit financing to the first batch of SmartEd projects. I am proud to announce today that ISFD is committing $100 million for the Cameroon and Uzbekistan projects each. This is in addition to our financing for the 2 phases of the Tajikistan operations with GPE. We believe in partnerships because we are committed to our goal of reducing poverty through enhancement of human capital. I do thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hibba, for emphasizing ISFD commitment to this partnership with GPE. Now, we would like to hear from OPIC Fund, which was the second ACG group institution to pledge support to the SmartEd facility. Okay. Apologies, they are not on stage. We will now move to hear from His Excellency, the CEO of Saudi Fund for Development.
Thank you. بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أصحاب المعالي والسعادة، الحضور الكريم، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. يطيب لي في بداية أن أتقدم بالشكر الجزيل لمجموعة البنك الإسلامي للتنمية ولمنظمة الشراكة من أجل التعليم لدعوتنا لحضور هذا الاجتماع الهام لدعم المسيرة التعليمية في الدول منخفضة الدخل ولتمكين الوصول إلى المدرسة ومواصلة التعليم. والشكر للزملاء في مجموعة التنسيق العربية على جهودهم في دعم قطاع التعليم منذ تأسيس المجموعة. السيدات والسادة، حرص الصندوق السعودي للتنمية منذ انطلاقه في عام 1975 ميلادي على تمويل التنمية في جميع مجالاتها، ومن ضمنها قطاع التعليم من خلال تمويل مشاريع تسهم بضمان التعليم الجيد والشامل للجميع وتعزيز فرص التعليم مدى الحياة، وخصوصاً في الدول منخفضة الدخل من أجل تمكينها من مواكبة التطور في مجال المعرفة وبناء القدرات. وقد أولى الصندوق السعودي للتنمية قطاع التعليم أولوية في المشاريع التنموية التي ينفذها، وخصص جزءاً كبيراً من مساهماته في هذا القطاع، حيث ساهم بتمويل ما يقارب 120 مشروعاً تنموياً تعليميا بإجمالي تمويلات بلغت 2.8 مليار دولار، استهدفت تمويل مختلف أركان منظومة هذا القطاع، ممثلة في تمويل الإنشاءات وتوفير التجهيزات والمعدات وتطوير المناهج ودعم الاعتماد على الأساليب التعليمية المتطورة. السادة الحضور، تظهر مبادرة دعم التعليم التي نشترك فيها مع مجموعة التنسيق العربية ومنظمة الشراكة الدولية من أجل التعليم مستوى الاهتمام المطلوب من أعضاء المبادرة بهذا القطاع. وفي هذا الصدد فإننا في الصندوق فعلنا إسهامنا لتحقيق هذه المبادرة لأهدافها، حيث تم اعتماد عدد من المشاريع لقطاع التعليم منذ بدء المبادرة بعدد 5 مشاريع بإجمالي 178 مليون دولار. ويستمر الصندوق السعودي في التنمية في أداء رسالته وإلى الأهمية القصوى لتمويل المشاريع في قطاع التعليم خلال السنوات القادمة، وخاصة في الدول التي لديها عجز في هذا القطاع، من خلال الاستئناس بمؤشرات التنمية في تلك البلدان وبالتعاون مع شركاء التنمية حول العالم. وحاليا لدينا في الصندوق 4 مشاريع في قطاع التعليم تحت الدراسة بقيمة تتجاوز 72 مليون دولار. كما أؤكد لكم استمرارنا في الصندوق بالعمل مع الصناديق الأخرى لتحقيق مستهدفات الشراكة العالمية من أجل التعليم والبنك الإسلامي للتنمية، وعلى وجه الخصوص من خلال ورش العمل التي تنظمها لمناقشة أوجه الدعم الممكن لتفعيل المبادرة وتحقيق الأهداف المنشودة والمساهمة في تطوير مخصصات التعليم واستمرار العملية التعليمية في البلدان المستهدفة. وفي الختام نود أن نعبر عن تمنياتنا الصادقة لنجاح هذه الجهود المبذولة في هذا الشأن، وبما ينعكس على تطوير التعليم في المجتمعات النامية. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Thank you very much, Dr. Al-Rashad. Although the Kuwait Fund is not here with us today, we do have a video message from the Acting Director General, His Excellency Walid Al-Bahar, and we will play the message now.
Excellencies, friend and colleague, distinguished guests, it would have been a great honor for me to join you in person this evening on this very special occasions that celebrates the achievements of yet another milestones in our partnership, and I am extremely pleased to share with you these visitive moments via this recorded messages. I am also sincerely grateful for allowing me the opportunity to share with you my thoughts and reaffirm to you once again our keen interest in collaborating with you in support of ACG SmartEd financing facilities for quality education. Distinguished guests, despite vast successes by the international community in strengthening education systems in developing countries, the world today greatly is facing compounded challenges in the aftermath of successive crises. The effort of these challenges on education around the global and particularly in member countries of the Organization of the Islamic Countries are severe and unprecedented. The past pandemic alone has disrupted education system across the world crisis, causing learning losses, dropouts, and increased inequalities. Distinguished guests, Kuwait Fund recognized the importance of human capital for achieving sustainable development goals, and in this vein, education remains one of our key priority sectors as we continue to commit valuable resources to the construction of numerous education facilities in many parts of the developing world. Distinguished guests, with the declining resourcing dedicated to education globally, there is dire need for innovative financing tools that bring transformative investment in education system. And thanks to the leadership of the ISDB and the GPE, the ACG SmartEd initiative in and innovative and promoting solutions that will help bridge the gap in financing resources dedicated to education in OIC countries, while building our past cooperation and developing our partnership with you, as in our Northwestly project in Nigeria. We reaffirm our commitments to supporting education as strategic priority for development cooperation, and we welcome supporting our beneficiaries in the upcoming round of the ACG Smart Initiative. I thank you for your kind attention, and I am indeed confident that this event will inspire further dialogue and cooperation in the promoting quality education for all.
Thank you very much. We would like to give an extreme thankfulness for the Director Generals of the Arab Coordination Group. You may now join the audience. And now that we've had goodwill messages from the institutions who are funding, we would like to hear from the beneficiary countries. Now I would like to call the distinguished speakers from two of our beneficiaries countries, Cameroon and Nigeria. Honorable Minister of Finance from Cameroon, kindly join the stage, and Your Excellency, the Permanent Secretary for the Federal Ministry of Finance from Nigeria. Prime Minister?
Here?
Yes.
Am I starting?
Yes, please.
I hope I will be vocal today. I'm so sorry about the voice, but when it's about expressing gratitude, I do whatever possible to represent my country. We have listened to the ACG-GPE Smart Education Program. Cameroon is among the 3 first beneficiaries. I'm not the Minister of Education, but I'm the fruit of education. Unfortunately, he could not join today. But on behalf of Cameroon, the government of Cameroon, the people in charge of education, he asked me to represent him and deliver just a simple message. Education is key. It is essential. Recent crisis has shown how great education can be. In my country, and Nigeria as well, Boko Haram is impacting negatively. Why? Partly because of education. If we manage to educate those people, they certainly are going to move far from Boko Haram. In which direction? To become asset for the society. Youth, young girls, young boys, aiming at becoming part of the mainstream of the economy, they can't join just because of education. If we are here today and we see ISFT, ACG, Badea, Islamic Development Bank pledge financial support, we go home very proud of being part of this ummah. We are an ummah of education, knowledge, sharing, solidarity. All this you will find in different surahs and verses of Quran. let us, those who have, share with those who have not. Sharing is one of the missions of life. Sharing education is more important because education and knowledge, when you share, you don't become poor, you become more rich. Cameroon is very proud. Al-Jassar, through you, through the Arab group, through all the beneficiaries and stakeholders, we want to express our sincere gratitude, and we pledge our commitment to make the best use of the resources made available to the benefit of our population in dire need of education. I thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Permanent Secretary, Mr. Ahmed. Now we will have the final remarks from His Excellency, the Honorable Alamin May, the Minister of Economic Planning and Regional Development from the Republic of Cameroon, followed by a photo with all of the ACG group and the beneficiary countries. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. President of ISDB Group, Mr. Al-Jassar, all the governors of the bank here present, the chair or the CEO of GPE, Ms. Laura Fraghetti, and other distinguished guests here present. Let me say on behalf of the Honorable Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Mrs. Zainab Shamsuna Ahmed, who was here earlier in the day, but had to leave, had to depart because of an urgent commitment back in Nigeria, to deliver this brief word of thank you to the IDB group, and especially the IDB and partners for all they have done to education in Nigeria. As everybody is aware, Nigeria has one of the highest out-of-school children in the world, which is no doubt is not a badge of honor. It's a tag that we are happily willing to let go. I want to say that this kind of intervention will go a long way in putting these out-of-school children back in school, and we are very grateful for that. The minister from Cameroon just mentioned Boko Haram, and I'm sure that everybody by now knows what this group stood or stand for. Boko means education. Of course, haram is an Arabic word for something that is not allowed. So this group of people have tried in their own way to fight education in certain part of the country. But thankfully, given the effort of the security system in the country, we have been able to contain them, and a number of schools, a number of children are coming back to school. The infrastructure have been rehabilitated, and we have also introduced the Safe School program in order to ensure that children go to school and they are safe and they stay in a conducive learning environment. So I want to end this by really saying, once again, this is a huge boost. This is a huge shot in the arm for education in Nigeria, and we're forever grateful to IDB and all the ACG member group and GPE for all this intervention in the area of education. So thank you so very much, and we're greatly appreciative of all the efforts, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That will close this session. We would now like to invite both the representatives from the Arab Coordination Group as well as GPE and the Honorable Permanent Secretary and Minister, please join the stage for a group photo. Thank you.